Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I've got some more Hot Topic beauty love to share with you. I actually went this weekend because I knew they had the new Ready Player One Artemis palette, and while I was there, I saw this, a Riverdale palette. This wasn't even on their website earlier that day on Friday when I looked on there. But when I walked into the store, there it was, and it just kind of called to me. Now, I will tell you, I hadn't actually watched Riverdale when I picked this up. It's kind of been on my Netflix to watch list, but I hadn't watched it yet, mostly because I've gotten really paranoid of watching brand new TV shows. I usually end up waiting until they start getting good feedback and get renewed for their second season because I've been so burned by falling in love with a show only for it to get canceled after the first season. So I never got around to watching it. Had it saved on my list of things to watch. Friday I was at Hot Topic and I saw this, and so I knew I needed to get on it and start watching it. So I did. This weekend I kind of started binge watching a bit. I still am not all the way through season 1, and unfortunately the CW doesn't put all of their current episodes on Hulu for you to watch. So once I'm done with season 1, I'm kind of stuck in limbo land waiting for season 2 to come out. So, you know, obviously it can't avoid spoilers, and I don't really mind spoilers, but I thought this would be fun to show you guys. The palette itself is just super cute. So it's got the cute little, this is kind of poofy. You can see it, the little R, it's got little pom-poms. So when you open it, this is what it looks like. So it actually has Riverdale embossed into the shadows, and it does have a brush. It is another kind of it's wrapped with a really kind of cheap looking plastic, but it does say Riverdale on it. I might try to use the liner side of it maybe, because I was thinking of maybe using this black color to smoke along the upper lash line or something, but that's usually all I ever use these for. So yeah, super cute. I kind of hate to dig into the letters and mess them up. This packaging kind of reminds me a little bit more of the American Horror Story one. It's a little better made, but it's just that kind of lighter cardboard, and the shadows are really sunken down in there. So I don't know if you can see kind of how deep down, before you actually get to the shadow. I really don't understand why they do that. It makes it a little harder to get into. So this palette is cruelty free. It seems like most of the ones that I've purchased from them are. I don't think I've ever gotten one that wasn't. It retails for $14.90. I think when I got it, they were doing this buy one, get one 30% off. So I got the Artemis palette and this one, and I got a discount on it. But online, it's on sale for $11.92, and it is currently still in stock as of when I'm filming this video, which is Tuesday. So let me do quick swatches and we'll do a quick eye look. Is it sad that I'm actually kind of looking forward to somewhat of a neutral look here? All right, here we go. They got a little wonky, but these aren't too bad so far. So first shade up is My Specialty is Ice. Next is Pussycat. Then I Love You Betty Cooper, Chocolate Shop, Ginger Stallion, Cherry Blossom, I'm a Weirdo, River Vixen, and Dark Betty. So some of these, this one was really sheer. It took a lot of building. I was a little surprised at how light that one was. And this one seemed a little kind of chalky, but I don't know. We'll see how these go on the eyes. All right, I am starting out with primed lids, and I'm going straight into the shade Pussycat, and I'm just lightly blending this through the crease, kind of using a softer hand at first, and then I decided to dip back in to make sure I got a little bit more higher on the brow bone so it would show through the other colors. Next, I'm going into the shade Cherry Blossom with a slightly more tapered brush, focusing this a bit more in the crease. Again, I'm starting light just so that I don't deposit too much color. Then I'm starting to build this color up a little bit on the inner and outer half of the eye to start the halo. Now with a more tapered little tiny brush, I'm using Chocolate Shop, and I'm going to start kind of patting this onto that inner and outer half of the eye. I wanted this to stay very kind of soft and smoky. I could have used a packing brush, but I thought this gave it a softer look. And then once I'm done with the outer and inner half, I'm connecting them across the center. Then with that same brush, I'm going back into Cherry Blossom just to kind of blend that crease area again. Now I'm wetting a small brush and going into the shade My Specialty is Ice, and I'm just using the mirror to look straight ahead so that I make sure that I deposit the color right on the center, right in that spotlight area. Then I'm going into the shade Ginger Stallion, and I'm kind of using this to go along the outer portion of that little spotlight I just put down, just to kind of blend the colors and add a little bit of extra dimension. And then back in the center with My Specialty is Ice, just back and forth until I'm happy with the brightness. And then back into Chocolate Shop to make sure I didn't lose too much of that depth on the inner and outer part. To highlight the inner corner, I'm using my specialty as ice again. For the lower lash line, I'm spraying a flat angled brush and going into the green shade, which is I'm a Weirdo, and I'm just doing 2 really good coats right along the lower lash line. Then with a pencil brush, I'm going into the shade Cherry Blossom again, and I'm just running this right underneath the green shade. Then I decided I wanted the green a little bit smokier, so I'm using that pencil brush back into I'm a Weirdo and just kind of going right on top of where the green is, just to kind of blur it a bit. Now just using my Tarte liner, the pencil side, to add some black into the waterline. And as promised, I am using the black shade, which is Dark Betty, to try to do some liner on top. This brush is damp. I found that it didn't work as well dry, and I'm basically just having to continually dip in and do little dashes along the upper lash line to make it kind of somewhat of a smoky liner. And then I did a little tiny wing on the end. Off camera, I'm doing mascara and lashes. Alright guys, so this is the finished look. I'm actually really happy with this palette, so yay. Just to kind of do an overview, I guess, of like favorites and least favorites. I gave this black a chance. It really didn't work the way I wanted it to as kind of like a smoked out liner. I did try it dry originally on this eye, and it just came off like, it took so much going back and back and back, and it was still just like a really wimpy gray color. And then wetting it helped a little bit. Perhaps this color just doesn't work very well over the shimmers, because I did notice that it kind of worked a little better on the outer corners than it did over that white shimmer. So that's something to keep in mind. Maybe it would be good on the lower lash line, or just to kind of deepen up the outer corner on top of one of the mattes. I really loved Pussycat and Cherry Blossom. Those were wonderful to blend. They actually were really nice. And I love the colors of them. Very neutral and natural. I really do like Ginger Stallion. The reason I chose to kind of do like the white with the orange was because when I kind of I put it on my hand and held it up next to the eye after I did the halo portion, and I just felt like the orange would get lost. But I think this would be really pretty with some of the other shades, maybe just kind of like have it over in the inner portion and deeper shades on the outer portion, because it is really a pretty shade. I'm very happy with my specialty as ice. Some of the previous palettes from Hot Topic, the white shades have been either really chunky or kind of like too much glittery and not enough pigment. So this actually worked really nicely. I did try it originally dry on this eye, and it just didn't give me that punch, but that's kind of just what I expect these days with the shimmery shadows, especially the cheaper ones. So it worked great wet. This green was beautiful. I really wish this would have been the kind of green they had included in that Nickelodeon palette, because this, perfect. I did wet it, but I mean, it glided on so smoothly, and I mean, you saw the finger swatch. Even when I just like dipped my finger in it, it was just a really good green. I didn't get a chance to try the purple. I thought about putting the purple on the lower lash line, and in the end I just decided I didn't want to. I didn't like it from the swatch, and I really thought that the tone of the cherry blossom color looked better. I keep wanting to call it Cheryl Blossom. Overall, this is actually a really good palette, especially if you're not the biggest color fan, because I really think it's so easy to put something like a pop of green on your lower lash line and still be completely wearable. And this orange and the pink are subtle enough to where you could just have a little bit on the inner portion or like a little spotlight. You know, nothing too crazy. It's actually a really good neutral everyday type of palette. So I'm really glad I picked this one up when I saw it, because I wasn't really sure how I was going to like it, and so far I've liked both the show and the palette, so that's always a win-win for me. As I mentioned earlier, I did pick up the Artemis palette, which is from the upcoming Ready Player One movie. Hot Topic has a whole bunch of really cute Ready Player One stuff right now, so if you're a fan, stay tuned. I think I might try to have that video up on Saturday maybe. If not Saturday, I promise it'll be early next week, but I really wanted to get this one out, so yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed this review and tutorial. Please give it a like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe if you're not already. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.